Get ready to level your shit up with the LFG Show. We travel the globe to bring you heavy hitters from all walks of life. We've been talking some serious business, from the best digital marketers, government contracting experts, to top athletic and celebrity doctors. We've got it all covered. We're talking to guys who've cashed in for billions with a B. And the best thing is, we're just getting started. So hold on tight. We're about to crank it up a notch. Get ready for next level networking and masterminds within the LFG community. Scared money don't make no money or honey. Hit the subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment, and let's fucking go. Guys, we're at RoofCon. This is day number 2. This show has been fantastic. I'm with my main, Mr. Ed Pain. Always good to have you on the show. Listen, Ed is the true definition of an entrepreneur. We've done a lot of good things together, and there's a new endeavor called Roofs in the Box. It's just, man, from day one, it's taken off. It's bringing a lot of value to roofers, and man, all I'm hearing, people are excited about the product. So I want you to talk to the audience, tell them more what the product is, how it's benefiting roofers, and that kind of thing.
First of all, I own my own roofing companies. So one of the things that you and I have made a lot of money on in the past is finding niches within niches.
Yep.
And for me, I don't like to start anything unless I can scale it. And when I first started getting in the roofing industry, I had a really hard time with back end operations and also the seasonality of business. Because what happens is in roofing, when there's peaks, and when there's valleys, a lot like lead gen or a lot of other businesses, the seasonality of it. And what was happening was I had the back end COGS, my fixed costs were always there. So I had APAR, I had Xactimate insurance specialists, because insurance claims are huge in the roofing business. I have suppliers, COC work orders. And these positions are mid to high salary positions. And when times are down, I can't lay them off. I can't have them take time off for work. And so these fixed operational costs were always there. And so for me, I was looking at how can we kind of save on these costs, and then 2, how do I not lay people off during down times, but also maybe even the ability to pocket more money during the slow season or even the peak season. And so what happened is that since we've done this before with lead gen and other businesses, we have back end staff in Colombia. Since we've done this before, like with our lead gen companies, where we have virtual staffing and from Argentina or Colombia in our back end operation for publishing and doing Leadspedia or Ringba or all these other platforms. I'm like, why don't we do the same thing in the construction business? And before we launched in the marketplace, we wanted to make sure that that all the kinks were worked out, right? Like, how do they work with contractors? How do they work when ordering materials? How do they connect with sales reps out in the field? Because unlike lead gen, our construction backend still needs to interact with U.S. teams all day, every day. And U.S. teams don't use stuff like WhatsApp or Skype or Zoom. They use traditional means of connection. So what we did first is we tested with my own companies to kind of figure out how can we bridge the gap on those processes. And I didn't want to, like we do in lead gen, we don't want to cut our teeth with big buyers, right? We want to make sure that we create win-wins. So all the guinea pig was actually my own companies. Now, once we figured it out, now all of a sudden, not only can we reduce our competition, so to speak, or partners now, but more so we reduced their fixed cost by 70%. And so now during the downtime, they have real seasoned veteran type of players, but during the uptime, they pocket 70% of their operational costs are now going back in their pocket. So it's great for downtime, but even more so, it's great for peak time. And then when it's time to scale, they have the back end prepared, already ready to go to help them lift off.
Yeah, and they can scale quickly, right? It's what it comes down to. Without all this, time is money. And especially as a business owners, we know that our time is so freaking limited. So if you have to spend time training somebody, that's less time you could be growing revenue or putting out another fire, one less thing off your plate. And you have someone handle that for you. like that. Turnkey is what it comes down to, right?
It's turnkey, but also like in small business, most business owners can't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
There's always something that they don't want to do or they don't want to take care of themselves, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's accounting, whether it's sales, whether it's training, whether it's onboarding, whether it's IT. It doesn't really matter what the issue is. Business owners tend to wear a lot of hats, but what happens, they end up wearing hats they don't like, but they can't also focus. We always say, are you a business owner or a business operator? And they're such a business operator, they can't get out of their own way to let the business run itself, right? Because they're too busy doing the mundane and the simple stuff. So the two things that it does, one, it gives them the ability to scale, but more so just frees them up to really do what they're passionate and what to work on the business versus in the business. So, and just like with lead gen, we take on one employee to start. Our best referral base is actually our existing client base, because what's happening, we've had zero turnover.
Wow.
And so 3-4 months in, what used to be one employee is now multiple employees. So it's kind of it's a great way to kind of organically just grow your own business.
I'm glad you talked about the zero turnover, because that's the biggest issue too, especially you spend so much time training somebody.
Yeah.
So and it's not that's even the money, it's the time that you lost is just gone forever, right?
Yeah.
You can't get that time back. Yeah, you can replace them, but guess what? Now you got to train them again. And there's probably a 70% chance they're not going to last. So I think that's the huge thing, that's freeing up their time, taking care of all that for them, and just one less thing to worry about. And not only that, the other thing I was going to talk about too is that when you hire somebody, let's say you're paying them, I don't know, $30, $40, $50 an hour, whatever it is, that's our hourly wage. Then you got payroll taxes, then you got health insurance, you got this, you got that. So that's another thing you don't got to worry about with this, right?
Yeah. So most depending on what state you're in, you're averaging about 12.5% on what you pay out on taxes, insurance, FICA, all the different insurances that you have to pay out, right? So yeah, you don't have to pay out unemployment, you don't have to pay out FICA insurance, Medicare, Social Security, the things that business owners have to eat. The other piece of it too that's weird is that they're just grateful, right? It feels weird, like when you start talking about paying somebody a couple $1,000s a month internationally, it's game changing for them, right? They wake up proud, they're proud of what they do. It's a prestigious job for them. And just the loyalty there, right? It reminds me of how America used to be like 20, 30 years ago. It was a proud country, and just to have that kind of culture in your company is glaring. Yeah. I mean, these people like fit in, they're part of the family. What's cool also about it is you just talked about the hiring process. It's different. Like, I wish we almost hired our US agents this way, right? We do an English equivalent exam. They have to score like an 85% or higher to even get the interview process. And I keep joking about it, but it's true. I can't even get an 85%. Right? And so when we're interviewing these people, it's not just English comprehension. It's Western civilization, so they understand our culture. They have the same kind of mindset. It's not a submissive culture like you do the eastern part of the world. And it's but more so importantly, we're hiring specifically for a skill set that you're looking for. So when we do the needs assessment and we say like, hey, this is the job criteria of what we want, it's the ability to place out of 400 applicants, out of the 100 that may score the 85% or more, and narrowing it down to the 2 or 3 that fits the specs. So even our interview process, we have it so narrowed down to get you exactly what you're looking for. Wow. It's pretty brilliant. Yeah. What really sold me on my own product, what I hate to drink from the Kool-Aid, is that my biggest question is, can we do our C-suite, right? And so my biggest roofing company, my COO is from Colombia, and she is a game changer. I mean, now I almost want to, if I wasn't so loyal to our team, I would have fired our entire team, because she's just that good. Yeah. She's revolutionized how I looked at how COOs need to operate.
There's a new endeavor called Roofs in the Box. It's just, man, from day one, it's taken off.
When I first started getting in the roofing industry, what was happening was my fixed costs were always there. And so for me, I was looking at how can we kind of, one, save on these costs, and then two, how do I not lay people off during down times, but also maybe even the ability to pocket more money during the slow season or even the peak season. Since we've done this before, like with our lead gen companies where we have virtual staffing and from Argentina or Colombia, I'm like, why don't we do the same thing in the construction business? Now, once we figured it out, so we reduced their fixed cost by 70%. And so now during the downtime, they have real seasoned veteran type of players, But during the uptime, they pocket 70% of their operational costs are now going back in their pocket. And then when it's time to scale, they have the back end prepared, already ready to go to help them like lift off. Depending on what state you're in, you're averaging about 12.5% on what you pay out on taxes, insurance, all the different insurances that you have to pay out, right? So yeah, you don't have to pay out unemployment, you don't have to pay out FICA insurance, Medicare, Social Security, the things that business owners have to eat.
Roofs in the Box is not just limited to roofing or home improvement companies.
You can use it for any services, right? You can use it for IT. We use them internally for data sales, for hygiene, for analytics. It doesn't even matter what the vertical is.
It's like business in the box at the end of the day.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then and I know you've told me you waxed poetic about her for like day one. Like, wow, I think we stumbled upon a goal, like someone that's amazing here. And then that's been, several months down the road. That hasn't changed. Nope. And it's so great when you, as a business owner, you have that right-hand person that, it sounds like she can just run the business on her own. You give her like little direction. She gets your direction, which is amazing.
Right. She does. Yeah. And it's one thing to one thing. Like, you know what it's like as a business owner, you as being a visionary, you have ideas and thoughts and concepts and you want people to execute, right? My biggest thing for me ever is execution. I have these ideas, beliefs, and I spend so much time and money. My relationships are so important to us.
100%.
And who's going to go out and execute and fulfill the plan? And when you have these people that just kind of come in and die hard and get the job done, and do whatever they got to do to get it done. If it's meaning 10 or 12-hour days for subsequent weeks or days, they'll just get the job done because they're proud and they want to do it. Not even as an ownership, but they take ownership in the company. Yeah, it's an amazing belief system.
It is, and I think at the end of the day, your employees or people on your team, they're a representation. I mean, they represent the brand. Yeah. So if you have people that are proud, they're happy, they're proud to deliver a quality product, they're committed to that, then guess what? You're going to have no negative reviews. You're going to have nothing but positive reviews because bad news travels fast. Yeah. They go on Google. Everyone checks Google. They check out the reviews and everything. So that's going to ensure that you stay a step ahead. And in our game, in any business, your reputation is so important, right? So you want to have, if the employees are happy, they're gonna go above and beyond, and that's gonna help you get that edge of versus roofing company B or Chuck and Truck Roofing, right? Yeah. I mean, you agree with that? I think that's one of the benefits to your product.
Well, you got to think of it even on a distribution channel, like COGS, and it's one thing. Like one of the things that's beautiful for me, like we're working the storm right now in Georgia, for instance, and because my operational costs are down. We can offer things that no one else can. So my margins are better because now all of a sudden I don't have the fixed overhead on the back end, which means that I can either save money on labor, product, or that's pretty much it, right? Gross profit. And so when you start looking at moving the needles that you have to do to change revenue numbers, you can't manipulate them. But if labor's down, and like we had old ladies that had trees that were like about ready to fall in their house from trees that were built from when God created Earth, kind of thing, right?
From Hurricane Helene?
Yeah, from Hurricane Helene. And the insurance would only cover the ones that actually fell on the house. And there's these huge trees that are like $2,000 to $5,000 plus to remove that the insurance wouldn't cover. We could do that for free for them. Wow. Just at no additional cost because the monies we're saving on the back end now just to be philanthropists and just to give back to the community. Say, you know what, I'm going to do this at no cost because my margins aren't being eaten up by U.S. labor. And so it feels really good to be able to make those decisions because now all of a sudden we could do what's not just best for our company, but also for our clients. Right. And it's like, and if you want to do those things to feel good and just feel good about who you are as a human being, it just feels good to be able to make those decisions. Yeah,
and that's going to pay dividends down the line because that elderly homeowner or neighbors or might be elderly, they're going to say, wow, this place was great for me. They saved me $3,000 on tree removal. I had a house in South Carolina. I know that had a massive tree. Man, I think it cost me $4,000 to bring that down. I was like, are you kidding me? I was pissed, man. But like, you have to do it, right? Yeah. It is what it is. So that's a great story.
And some of these people don't have two nickels to rub together, right? It's not like
especially in this inflationary environment,
100%.
Man. Yeah, that's awesome, man. So let's talk about some of the clients. I mean, I love the fact that you were like your own client, right? You proved this out. Let's talk about other clients that have come on since then. What's been the biggest needle mover by partnering up with Roofs in the Box?
I think it's the transparency because as a business owner and as somebody that can tell the pain points, it's not a lie, right? Like one of the things I always say, like if you hire an EA, like our EAs really do get our crazy, right? They match, they align. It's more like dating, right? It's not about like, do you have the skill? It's like culturally, are we a fit?
Yeah.
right? And that's not something you can teach. It's either something that's inherent in personality traits. So it's not a skill set if they're detailed. And I tell them, I said, hey, it may take you 4 times to find the right EA, which is an accurate statement. I'm not saying we're going to hit home run day one. That's the only thing that we haven't really hit home run day one. I say, trust your instinct, right? I think the other thing is that we're not overselling it. We say hire one. When you look at hiring new employees, we don't say hire 10 employees on the same day. You still got to teach them your process. You got to teach them your paperwork. You got to onboard. You still have to get people to train them. Like, what's the training curriculum? When can you train them? Who's going to train them? We could do the first 2-3 days of getting them like basic fundamental in roofing and whatnot, just understanding what a roof is, code in the area. But we can't train them your culture.
Yep.
That still has to be done by you. So people are like, we don't do more than 1 or 2 employees at a time, because you wouldn't normally hire more than 1 or 2 employees at a time. And so for us, I think what's really the game changer is the communication, because being my own testimonial and our sales team being the testimonial, it's we're able to articulate the pain points, be able to not do the sale for the sake of the sale. It's more the sale to what's best for their best interest. And like you say, from the beginning, we've always been about win-wins with our strategic plays.
Yeah.
And it's this is no different, right? It's what's best for them, And the other thing is, like, sometimes we just walk away. Like we say, like, if you can't train them and you're too busy and you're looking to bring this person on, and you can't get out of your own way because you're at the point where you have too much revenue coming in, but you have no time to help this person, you're probably not the right fit. Because you have to be able to take a back step and say, maybe now is not the time, because just like any employee, if you bring them on and don't give them the right coaching or back end, they're going to flounder. So for us, we don't want to bring people on culturally onto our team that we're going to hire and put them in a situation where they're not going to thrive.
Yeah.
Right. And we've had issues with that too. Like we had, since we will do back end training, we actually took one of their employees, we took them away for a month, train them on the things that they were going to try to train them on themselves. So that's good about having the expertise. So we were nimble enough with them. But now every sale we do after that, we do a better needs assessment to see if they're even set up to train their potential employees. So I think the game changer for us for onboarding new is the experience of these are the pitfalls you need to avoid now, which we unfortunately we had to learn the hard way, but at least our partners don't have to learn the same way.
And I love that you said that you'll turn business away. It's not like you're living and dying off someone signing on, because you have several other successful businesses. You have multiple revenue streams coming in. So you want to make sure you onboard the right person, the right fit, because if it's not the right fit, it's not going to work for them no matter what. So I love that you said it, because a lot of companies wouldn't say that. They're just sign on whoever they want to sign on. And at the end of the day, they're not going to have a lot long-lasting results doing that.
Right.
Yeah. So the last question I was going to ask you is, we're at RoofCon right now, right? RoofCon 2024, great show, phenomenal show.
Right.
RoofCon's on fire. Roofing's on fire, the vertical. I read in the Wall Street Journal, it's the new class of millionaires in America. It's not the techies. It's not all these, some crazy new AI thing, which that's happening, but it's the old school, get your hands dirty, get on top of roofs, roofing, HVAC, plumbing. So it's here to stay, man. It's great. So what are your thoughts on that? And what's the future of roofing in your opinion?
Roofing's uncapped. Like we talk about the seasonality, like if a company's like a toddler, an infant, a teenager, or mature, right? And teenager is when, like, obviously it's Tony Robbins theory, right? Like if you have an infant, it needs a lot of babysitting. If you have a toddler, it's like, oh, game on, because sticking their hands in sockets, eating marbles, doing whatever, it's chaotic. It's chaotic. It's too infant. Roofing is still seems to be, even though it's a more mature business, it's still teenage as far as fun, the open landscape, the profitability. But it's mature in essence where insurance has regulated it. The margins are the margins. And I think what you're alluding to earlier, skilled labor is becoming more and more rare in America. And to be able to offer solutions that people need, right? Especially in the storm environment, right? It's like you're working with their insurance as their advocate, because insurance will be quick to like write a check, for instance, to say, hey, take this check. And homeowners don't know what's real, what's not. But what they don't tell you is if your house is not up to code and you don't have someone fight for you to say, hey, no, it doesn't need a partial, it needs a full replacement because 3 parts of the house integrity were compromised. And if you just fix it the way it is now, they won't insure you in the future, right? They need that advocate. So one of the things is not just saying, hey, let me come in and supply this demand for you because you have a hole in your roof or you have leak and damage. It's kind of like, no, let me advocate for you to kind of get what you need or deserve and educate you on that process and what it is that we can fulfill. So I think the reason why it's good is one, the skilled labor piece, but this is actually really cool because we work on behalf of the homeowner and we can't gouge the price. The reality, whatever insurance say they're going to pay, it's what insurance is going to pay. So it's really working on is really an advocate for the homeowner.
I know a lot of you guys are doing pay-per call. A lot of you guys have call centers. We got AI in the house. We got Neil Billick. He's the founder and the CEO of All Rise AI. They're doing big things. I'm a user of his service.
We are coming in immediately 4Xing contact rates for clients. What we found in my BPO when I ran it and deployed the AI was we had 30-second wait times before the deployment between connections. And my guys were making about 500 connections a day. Times 30 seconds, we were wasting 250 minutes a day per head in a call center.
That's 4 hours. That's half
4 hours,
day. Yeah.
half their day, or half their wages being spent on them waiting for a call.
Yeah.
The reason your wait time's high is when you're calling out, you have an abandon rate you have to stay under of 3%. That's programmed in your dialer.
If the AI is weeding that out, and I think that's the benefit, it's collapsing time frames, it's helping your top producers produce, which is what you want them to do.
People are afraid AI is going to replace call center agents, and it may, but right now, use it to maximize your human resource. So leveraging it for the tools it can be to do exactly what you're saying. Let the humans do what they can do best. Let the AI get cursed out.
I think the contracting industry was riddled with a lot of people. My aunt came to America from Venezuela. First person in my family to buy a house in America. Very educated, master's degree, scientist. It's amazing how often she got ripped off by contractors. They will pull the wool over her eyes, man. And and I think that's a bad reputation that happens. But when you have a trustworthy group, man, I think that's going to separate the winners from the losers at the end of the
Unfortunately,
day.
they're still bad players. Like we're in Georgia right now, for instance, and we've been there since 2017. And we're a commercial contracting license and a GC license. And down there, you don't need a license to be a roofer. So there are like these people that are just doing what they have to do because they're a one trick pony, or they don't even really know what they're trying to sell. They're just trying to get in and out. Right. So unfortunately, that's still the case. But so definitely ask questions. Definitely do your due diligence. Definitely make sure they're insured. But the other side of it, though, skilled labor really is. I mean, it's a demand that homeowners need. If your AC goes out in Florida, and you have screaming kids in the house, you're not thinking maybe fix my AC. It's a necessity. You got your water's leaking through your roof. It's a necessity. You have plumbing issues. You have Niagara Falls going through your living room. It's not like maybe a plumber. It's a service that you need, right? And so what's cool about the industries that you're just saying, they're not going anywhere because other things are maybe a commodity where people may or may not need. Those industries you just mentioned are necessity that people aren't going to push off till later. If you're a homeowner, you have to take care of now before it ruins probably your largest investment you're ever going to make in your life, which is your home. Right. The novelty stuff you can do with or without based on interest rates, economic situations and whatnot. The three industries you just mentioned, if it's compromised, you have to fix it.
Yeah, 100%. That's the exciting part of it, right? Yeah. It's I say this, we've done stuff in solar before. Solar was it's called the solar coaster, right?
Right.
This right here is stability and it's growth. And if you can just provide a good product, do the right thing by your client, like any other business, you have such a long runway, which is pretty exciting. So Ed, I know we've been talking a lot about roofing and home improvement, but roofs at the boxes is not just limited to roofing or home improvement companies. We also have a Medicare company, right, or a Medicare buyer of leads that just signed up for it. Let's talk about how that saved them and what other industries this would benefit.
So obviously it's a connection holding company, and Roofs in a Box is very catered to roofing contractors or contracting in general. But yeah, Connection Holdings, we do virtual staffing for all entities, right? Like for instance, we have Medicare reps that are actually customer service that retain, that are English speaking, that that or onboarding or whatnot, that you can use it for any services, right? We can use it for IT. We use them internally for data sales, for hygiene, for analytics, for Convoso, for Ringba, for it doesn't even matter what the vertical is. The skill set is still the skill set. So when we interview for certain skill sets, that's what we go out for, right? So we have clients right now, like you said, currently in Medicare, currently in debt, currently in other home services, non-roofing related, because back end is back end. Account receivable is account receivable. Running the books is running the books, right? IT is IT. So what I like about it is it really agnostic to the industry. We try to stay in industries that we have some familiarity with because we own a Medicare floor. We know the pain points because we have a call center. We know the pain points because we own roofing companies. We know the pain points. So clearly we're able to offer a solution because we understand those things. So I don't think we haven't really expanded outside of what we're experts in. But anything that we cover, I mean, at Connection Holdings, it's not a roof in a box sale at that point. It's a Connection Holdings sale that's offering the same solutions for all types of businesses.
It's like business in a box at the end of the day.
Pretty much,
yeah. And the businesses that we're familiar with, we have an acclamation for.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
We have an unfair advantage that we could train them internally to fix the structural needs or the back end needs for any company.
Yeah, and the more I think about it, it's just amazing because this is stuff that we've learned, the trial and tribulation.
Yeah.
We had we went on a hiring spree in 2022. We were making a lot of money. We were spending a shitload on these shows, remember? And well, let's hire this person for this and that. And then when the tide starts to turn, like, why the hell do we have this person for this? Why do we have it for that? And then we actually, out of necessity, had to start looking overseas, looking for ways to save money in the bottom line. And then we were pleasantly surprised when we found out that, hey, not only are we saving money, but the productivity is just as good, if not better. Yeah. They're more grateful. So it's funny. It comes full circle at the end of the day. And it's a way to collapse time frames because, we've been through the shit. It's not like we're just selling a fucking product just to sell the product.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. We can offer the solutions and offer the pain points we do. Like in the construction, like if we needed to SMS roofers out on the field, how do we find SMS solutions internationally? If you have Medicare, you need VPN services. So how do I go into certain kind of software and logins without the VPN service? Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that we've experienced with ourselves, with our own clients, we can offer those same solutions now to the people that we're selling the product and service for, and so it's not like, oh, wow, I haven't seen this. It's like, oh, this is how we got through it when we have the solution. Ironically, we have the solution for you. It's part of the service.
Yeah, and that was crazy. We were our best quarter in history, Q4 2022. We're like a rocket ship, followed by the worst one, Q1 2023. So we had to scramble pretty fast, man. And those are the little pivots that we did to not only survive, but thrive, man. And looking back, I'm proud. And we made the right adjustments. So anyone that signs up, you're taking those, like that all that bullshit you went through, and like you're accelerating so you don't have to go through that crap.
Well, that's the thing you just mentioned, right? It's pretty sad when you have to hit $1 million in sales just to break even as a business owner.
Yeah.
If we had the COGS back then, even though it was our worst quarter ever, to still be doing $1 million months and lose money.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It's ridiculous, right? But because now we have this solution, we're positioned that even if we have a bad month like that now, it's still profitable because our back end COGS are limited. Yeah. And this is the solution that we're kind of offer other business owners is that, hey, let's not get rid of your entire U.S. staff, but as you hire and fill in gaps and connect the dots for your current situation, how are you going to leverage the low spots ahead? Because they're coming, right? It's not if, it's when. It's the seasonality, winter's here, but let's prepare for the spring. And when spring comes, you're better positioned for the next round of growth.
Yeah.
And that's all we're doing is being able to survive the low spots. So when the good times happen, we all eat, when the down times happen, we can weather the storm and not have to do like massive layoffs.
Yeah. Last thing I'll leave off as a business owner, cash is king. You want to have as much cash possible, right? And you want to piss it away during the good times because those bad times will come, and that cash, good business owners, they know how to turn $1 into $5, $10, right? So, and we learned that the hard way, but hey, I'm glad we learned that. Now we have solutions we can provide other business owners as a result, right? So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm glad we got this out to the audience. If you're a roofing contractor and you want to learn more how to reduce your operational cost 70% and take a big weight off your shoulder, hit up Ed at Roofs in the Box. We'll put a link here. And man, anything else you want to tell them aside from what I just said?
No, man, LFG. Let's just
LFG.
let's go.
Let's go.